"You're nothing but a glorified servant," yelled Ms. Clara Pearson, the manager of Blue Horizons Inc.'s marketing branch. Her sharp voice echoed through the office, her piercing blue eyes glaring at Marcus, a junior employee. "You people should be grateful for even being here. Now get out of my sight." Marcus froze. The room turned silent, the weight of her words crashing down like a heavy stone. He clenched his fists, trying to hold back tears as everyone else avoided his gaze, pretending to be busy. It wasn't the first time Clara had humiliated him, but this time it felt unbearable. From the corner of the room, an unassuming man with salt and pepper hair sat quietly, observing the scene. He was new, just a temp hired for the week, or so everyone thought. No one, not even Clara, knew that he was actually the CEO of Blue Horizons, Alexander James, undercover to investigate troubling rumors about the branch. Alexander's heart burned with anger as he witnessed the scene unfold. "This is it," he thought. "This is where I step in." But how would he handle Clara? Would justice prevail, or would she find a way to manipulate the situation? Alexander James had built Blue Horizons Inc. from the ground up, transforming it into one of the most respected companies in the industry. Known for its diversity, fairness, and respect for all employees, the company's reputation was its greatest asset. But troubling reports had been trickling in from the marketing branch. High employee turnover, complaints of discrimination, and rumors about Clara Pearson's behavior had reached Alexander's ears. Despite her brilliance in securing deals, Clara's name was associated with fear and disrespect. The final straw came when an anonymous letter landed on Alexander's desk. It described Clara's frequent outbursts, particularly towards employees of color, and her disdainful treatment of anyone she deemed beanie, her. The letter begged for help, fearing that the company's reputation would be ruined if her behavior continued. Determined to see the truth for himself, Alexander decided to go undercover as Alex Jones, a middle-aged temp worker. With his experience in the field and a well-prepared cover story, no one suspected his true identity. On his first day, Alexander noticed how the atmosphere in the branch was heavy with tension. Employees whispered in corners, their eyes darting around nervously. Clara's presence dominated the office like a storm cloud. "Mr. Jones," Clara called him on his first day, barely glancing at him. "File these reports and make sure they're perfect. I don't have time to clean up your mess." Her tone was dismissive, and Alexander detected a subtle undercurrent of disdain in how she spoke to him. Over the days, he watched her interactions closely. She reserved her sharpest insults for employees who didn't fit her idea of professional, targeting Marcus and others like him. She belittled them during meetings, made snide remarks about their appearances, and often dismissed their ideas without consideration. To everyone else, she was condescending but restrained, ensuring her harshest behavior was witnessed only by those she deemed powerless. One afternoon, Clara publicly berated Marcus in a meeting. "Do you even understand basic marketing principles?" she sneered, slamming a folder on the table. Marcus stammered an apology, his face burning with humiliation. "I don't have time for incompetence," she spat. "If you can't handle this, maybe you're better suited for something less demanding." Alexander saw the pain in Marcus's eyes, and his decision solidified. He couldn't stay silent any longer. But before confronting Clara, he needed to ensure the board and the HR department had all the evidence they needed. The day of reckoning came during a company-wide meeting. Clara stood at the front, projecting her usual air of superiority, unaware that Alexander had planned a dramatic reveal. "I'd like to introduce someone special," Alexander began, stepping forward. "He's been observing our team closely over the last 2 weeks." Clara's smirk faltered as Alexander pulled off his disguise, his confident gaze meeting hers. Gasps filled the room. "Alexander James, your CEO," he declared. "And I've witnessed behavior here that has no place in this company." The color drained from Clara's face as Alexander recounted her actions, supported by video footage, employee testimonies, and his own observations. Employees watched in stunned silence as their tormentor was exposed. As Clara stammered out excuses, Alexander silenced her with a raised hand. "You've not only mistreated your team, but you've also tarnished the values this company stands for. Effective immediately, you're relieved of your duties." The room erupted in applause as Clara was escorted out, her once imposing figure now shrunken in defeat. Marcus and the others felt a wave of relief and gratitude, their trust in leadership restored. A month later, Clara sent Alexander a heartfelt letter, apologizing for her actions and admitting the roots of her bitterness. She shared a painful history of her own discrimination, which she had internalized and redirected toward others. Though Alexander didn't reinstate her, he arranged for her to attend a program focused on understanding diversity and respect, showing that even those who falter can find redemption if they're willing to change. The days following her dismissal were a whirlwind of emotions for Clara. Anger, embarrassment, and regret fought for dominance in her mind. She replayed Alexander's words over and over again. "You've not only mistreated your team, but you've also tarnished the values this company stands for." The realization that she had become the very thing she once despised hit her like a freight train. Clara remembered her own struggles as a young professional in a male-dominated industry. Back then, she had been a shy intern with big dreams, often dismissed or mocked for her ideas. She had promised herself she'd never let anyone make her feel small again. But somewhere along the way, that determination had twisted into something ugly. One morning, Clara received an email from Alexander's office. Despite her termination, he had personally enrolled her in a prestigious leadership and diversity program. It wasn't a second chance at her job, but it was an opportunity to rebuild herself. Attached was a note from Alexander. "Clara, leadership isn't about power. It's about people. If you're willing to reflect and grow, this program can help you find the leader I believe you were meant to be. The choice is yours. Alexander James." Clara hesitated. Part of her wanted to ignore it out of pride, but a stronger part of her own she hadn't felt in years wanted to become better. She accepted. The program was grueling, filled with workshops, personal coaching, and countless moments of self-reflection. Clara found herself in a room full of people from all walks of life, leaders, activists, and even a few former offenders who had turned their lives around. Each person shared their stories of failure, resilience, and growth. One session, in particular, left a lasting impression on her. It was a role reversal exercise where participants acted out scenarios they had inflicted on others. Clara had to play the role of Marcus, standing in front of a group as someone yelled at her, insulted her intelligence, and dismissed her contributions. By the end of the exercise, Clara was in tears. "Is this what I did to him?" she whispered to her mentor, a woman named Marcia. Marcia nodded. "Yes, and that's why you're here to understand, to learn, and to change." Meanwhile, Marcus thrived under the new management. The branch flourished with the promotion of an empathetic and collaborative manager, chosen carefully by Alexander. Marcus, whose confidence had been shattered, began to find his voice again. One day, Marcus was called into Alexander's office. "I've seen your work," Alexander said, sliding a proposal across the desk. "This is excellent. I want you to present it at the next board meeting." Marcus hesitated, but Alexander's encouraging smile gave him the push he needed. At the meeting, Marcus' presentation was a resounding success, earning him a promotion to senior marketing strategist. The young man who had once been silenced now stood tall, his ideas shaping the future of the company. Months later, Clara reached out to Marcus. She had completed her program and wanted to meet him to apologize in person. Marcus was hesitant, but agreed, curious about what she had to say. They met at a quiet cafe, where Clara looked visibly nervous. "Marcus," she began, her voice shaky, "I owe you more than an apology. I owe you respect, acknowledgement, and an explanation for my behavior." Marcus listened as Clara opened up about her past, her struggles, and her regret. "I was wrong," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I took my pain and turned it into power. But it wasn't real power, it was cruelty. I'm so sorry." Marcus studied her for a moment. "I appreciate your apology," he said finally. "It means a lot that you're owning up to your actions. But more than that, I hope you've truly changed." Clara nodded. "I have, and you'll spend the rest of my life proving it." Clara began volunteering at community centers, mentoring young professionals and advocating for workplace diversity. Slowly, she rebuilt her reputation, not as a ruthless manager but as a compassionate leader. At Blue Horizons, Alexander made Clara's story a case study in leadership training sessions, emphasizing the importance of humility, respect, and accountability. The company's culture grew stronger, with employees feeling more empowered and valued. Years later, at a company-wide event celebrating Blue Horizon's 20th anniversary, Alexander stood on stage to give a speech. To everyone's surprise, he invited Clara to join him. "Today, we celebrate not just success, but growth," Alexander said. Clara's journey reminds us that no matter how far we fall, we can rise again if we're willing to learn and change. The audience erupted in applause as Clara took the microphone. Her voice trembled as she said, "I stand here not because I deserve praise, but because I want to show that transformation is possible. And I owe it to every person I wronged, like Marcus, who had the grace to forgive me." In the crowd, Marcus smiled, knowing that Clara's redemption was a victory for everyone. The story of Clara Pearson became a powerful symbol within Blue Horizons and beyond. It reminded people that karma isn't just about punishment, it's about the opportunity to grow, to heal, and to make things right.